The Indianapolis Colts are facing a massive crossroads that could change everything for our franchise. We are looking at a situation where a former top 5 pick might just walk away for next to nothing. It is a risky moment because the team spent so much draft capital on a dream that is now turning into a nightmare. If we don't handle this trade correctly, it could set the team back for years to come. I need you to stay tuned because this story is moving fast. Please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell right now. Anthony Richardson has officially requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts, and this news is shaking the entire organization to its core. We all knew this experiment had its ups and downs, but seeing it come to this is truly heartbreaking for many fans. The young quarterback has seen his time in Indy become a total roller coaster ride. One day he looks like a superstar, and the next day he is struggling to stay on the field. This situation reached a breaking point when he lost his starting job to Daniel Jones. Then, a freak injury to his orbital bone during warm-ups ended his season early. It was a strange and unfortunate moment that really summed up his time here. Now, he wants out, and the Colts have actually allowed him to look for a new home. But here is the problem that everyone is talking about right now. The market for him is very soft. That is a nice way of saying that other teams are not lining up to trade for him. According to top insiders, there just isn't much interest in giving up high draft picks for a player with so many question marks. The Colts are in a tough spot because they don't want to trade him for scraps. They invested a 4th overall pick in him, and giving him away for a late-round selection would be a disaster. He is still only 24 years old, which usually means he has a lot of value. However, his history of injuries and his inconsistent play on the field are making other teams very nervous. They see a player who has talent but cannot stay healthy or play at a high level every week. This makes it almost impossible for general manager Chris Ballard to find a fair deal. Right now, the prospect is training away from the team down in Florida while he recovers from surgery. He is trying to get healthy so he can show other teams he is worth the risk. But as long as he is rehabbing, his trade value stays low. It is a waiting game that nobody wants to play. If no team steps up with a good offer, he might have to stay in Indy for one more year. This would be very awkward for everyone involved. We are looking at a situation where the team and the player both want a fresh start, but the rest of the league is saying no thanks. Chris Ballard is the man who has to clean up this complicated mess, and he is walking a very thin line right now. The general manager recently spoke to the media about the future of his young quarterback, and his words were very interesting. He still claims to believe in the talent and the person, even though the trade request is out in the open. This veteran executive knows that he cannot just give away a former top 5 pick for nothing. That would look terrible for the front office and the entire scouting department. He has to protect the interests of the Indianapolis Colts above all else. This executive is known for being patient, and he is showing that patience again. He mentioned that he still sees real value in the player and has been happy with how he has grown as a person, but we have to look at the reality of the situation. The general manager is also dealing with the fact that the 5th-year option is looming. He admitted that he hasn't even thought about exercising that option yet because the future is so uncertain. It is hard to commit millions of dollars to a player who might not even be on your roster in a few months. The focus for the front office is simply on the immediate future. They want to see if a trade partner emerges or if they have to bring him back into the fold. This executive is also praising the player for being a great teammate during this difficult time. He said that if the young man was being difficult or salty, it would be a different story. But he is handling this professionally, which helps his value just a little bit. However, the play style of this athlete is also part of the problem. He is a high-risk, high-reward type of player who relies on his physical gifts. When those gifts are hampered by injuries, he loses what makes him special. The front office knows this better than anyone. They saw the potential, but they also saw the reality of the NFL. It is a tough business where results matter more than potential. Now, the man in charge has to decide if he will lower his asking price or keep a player who clearly wants to be somewhere else. It is a high-stakes game of poker, and the whole league is watching to see who blinks first. This situation matters so much because it directly affects whether the Indianapolis Colts can win more games next year. If we are stuck with a quarterback who doesn't want to be here, it creates a massive distraction for the entire locker room. We need everyone pulling in the same direction if we want to make the playoffs. Having a disgruntled player, especially at the most important position on the field, is a recipe for disaster. This could help them win more games if they can turn him into draft picks that help the rest of the roster. But if they can't trade him, they are stuck in a very uncomfortable position. It also matters because of the salary cap and the roster spots. Every dollar spent on a player who isn't playing is a dollar that could have gone to a veteran who helps us win now. We are talking about a $5 million guarantee that is just sitting there. For a team trying to build a winner, that is a lot of money to waste. There is also the risk of failure for the entire coaching staff. If they can't get this right, it reflects poorly on their ability to develop young talent. Fans are losing patience because they want to see a winning product on the field every Sunday. They don't want to hear about potential or rehab or trade markets. They want to see touchdowns and victories. If this situation drags on into the summer, it will be the only thing people talk about at training camp. That kind of pressure can break a team before the season even starts. We have seen how locker rooms can fall apart when there is uncertainty at the top. This isn't just about one player. It is about the identity of the entire team. Are we a team that moves forward, or are we a team that stays stuck in the past? The consequences of this decision will be felt for years. If we trade him for nothing, we lose a huge investment. If we keep him and he doesn't play, we lose a roster spot. It is a lose-lose situation unless the front office can find a creative way out. The fans deserve a clear path forward, and right now, the path is covered in fog. We need a resolution so we can focus on football again. Let's look at the two different paths this could take because the tension is building every single day. In the best-case scenario, a team becomes desperate for a quarterback after the draft. Maybe someone gets hurt, or a team misses out on the rookie they wanted. Suddenly, that soft market becomes very hot. The Colts could get a decent draft pick in return, and the player gets his fresh start in a new city. Everyone wins in that situation. The team gets assets, and the player gets a chance to rebuild his career. It would be a clean break that allows the Colts to focus entirely on their current roster. But now we have to look at the worst-case scenario. Imagine if no team calls. Imagine if the phone stays silent all summer long. Then, the player has to show up to training camp as a backup who already asked to leave. That creates so much tension in the building. Every mistake he makes will be magnified by the media and the fans. If the starting quarterback struggles, the fans might start calling for the guy who doesn't even want to be here. It would be a total mess. This kind of drama can ruin a season before it even kicks off. The emotional weight of this is heavy for the fans who really wanted him to succeed. We all saw the flashes of greatness and we all wanted him to be the next superstar in Indy. Now, we are faced with the reality that it might never happen. If this fails, it is a massive blow to the hope we all felt just a year ago. It feels like we are right back where we started, searching for an answer at the most important position. The tension is real because every day that passes without a trade makes the situation more difficult. You can feel the urgency in the air. The front office is trying to stay calm, but they know the clock is ticking. They need to find a solution before the pressure becomes too much to handle. If they wait too long, his value could drop even further. If they move too fast, they might regret what they gave up. It is a high-wire act with no safety net below. We are all just waiting to see if they can make it to the other side without falling. To sum it all up, the Indianapolis Colts are in a very difficult spot with their former top pick. We have a player who wants a fresh start, a team that wants a fair trade, and a league that isn't quite ready to buy in. It is a complicated mess of injuries, inconsistent play, and high expectations that simply haven't been met. The bridge seems to be burned, but there is no clear path to the other side. Now, I have to ask you the tough question. Be honest, would you trust this young quarterback to lead your team after everything that has happened? Or is it time for the Colts to just take whatever they can get and move on for good? This is a huge moment for our franchise, and I want to hear what you think in the comments below. Your voice matters to this community. While you are down there, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this inside look, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on our Colts. We are going to keep following this story very closely. Thanks for watching.